I'm not sure where my journal is leading me. However, I find myself driving down a dark road. The moon casts an eerie glow on the deserted road. It's late, and the streetlights flicker, adding to the unsettling atmosphere. I've heard the stories about Resurrection Mary, but I never put much stock in urban legends. Tonight, though, something feels different. The radio crackles, a static-filled song barely audible. As I pass Resurrection Cemetery, my headlights catch a glimpse of something. A figure stands by the gates, a girl in a white dress. I slow down, my heart pounding. Who could be out here at this hour? Her eyes meet mine as I pull over. She looks ethereal, almost translucent. Her blonde hair cascades over her shoulders, and her pale skin glows under the moonlight. She seems lost, her eyes wide and pleading. "Need a ride?" I call out, my voice shaky. She nods, her movements slow and deliberate. I unlock the door, and she slips inside, her presence chilling the air. The scent of lilacs fills the car, strangely comforting yet out of place. She sits silently, staring straight ahead. "Where are you heading?" I ask, trying to sound casual. "Just up the road," she whispers, her voice soft and distant. "Home." I nod and start driving, the silence thick between us. The road stretches ahead, and I can't help but steal glances at her. She's beautiful, but there's something off, something I can't quite place. As we approach a bend, she suddenly turns to me, her eyes filled with sorrow. "This is where I need to get off," she says, pointing to a dark, empty stretch of road. I stop the car, confused. "Are you sure? There's nothing here." She nods and steps out, her movements graceful and ghostly. I watch as she walks towards the cemetery gates, disappearing into the shadows. The cold air rushes in as I close the door, and I sit there for a moment, trying to process what just happened. When I finally drive away, I can't shake the feeling of unease. My mind races with questions, but one thought lingers. I just met Resurrection Mary. The legend is real, and I have the chills to prove it. As I turn the corner, I glance in the rearview mirror. The road behind me is empty, but for a split second, I see her face, pale and haunting, staring back at me. Panic surges through me, and I lose control of the car. The tires screech, and the car veers off the road, crashing into a guardrail. I'm shaken, but unhurt. The car, however, is a different story. I have no choice but to call a tow truck. The nearest hotel is a rundown place just off the highway, and I check in, feeling more exhausted than ever. The room is small and dingy, but it's a place to rest. I try to sleep, but the silence is heavy, oppressive. As I lie there, the scent of lilacs fills the room. I sit up, heart pounding. The air grows colder, and the shadows in the corner of the room seem to shift and move. A soft whisper reaches my ears. "Why did you leave me?" I freeze, recognizing the voice. The figure of Resurrection Mary materializes at the foot of my bed, her eyes filled with sadness and anger. "Leave me alone," I shout, but she only moves closer, her form flickering like a candle flame. "You brought me here," she says, her voice a mournful wail. "Now, you must stay with me." The lights flicker and go out, plunging the room into darkness. I scramble for the door, but it won't budge. Her cold hand touches my shoulder, and I scream, the sound echoing in the silent hotel. Desperation fuels my strength. I twist the doorknob with all my might, and finally, it gives way. I stumble into the dimly lit hallway, my breath ragged. The scent of lilacs lingers, following me. I glance back, seeing her ghostly form hovering at the doorway, eyes glowing with a mixture of longing and anger. I don't stop running until I'm outside, the cold night air biting at my skin. I can't shake the feeling that Mary isn't done with me yet. The air around me grows still, and I know this encounter has marked me. Desperation fuels my determination. I can't run from this. I have to face her head on. As I step back into the dimly lit hallway, the scent of lilacs still lingering, I make a decision. I need to find a way to end this haunting once and for all. I search the hotel room for anything that might help me. My hands shake as I rummage through drawers and closets, but all I find are dusty old magazines and worn-out furniture. Frustration wells up inside me, but then I remember my journal. With renewed hope, I retrieve the journal and flip through its pages. The entries detail the life of the clockmaker who created Resurrection Mary's cursed clock. There must be something here, some clue to her weakness. Suddenly, I come across a passage. It describes a ritual for banishing Mary, a ritual that requires a sacred object and a powerful incantation. I scan the pages, committing the details to memory. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I set out to confront Resurrection Mary once more. As I approach the hotel room, I can feel her presence, a cold chill in the air. I steel myself, clutching the journal tightly in my hand. I step inside, and there she is, hovering at the foot of the bed, her eyes glowing with malice. But this time, I'm ready. I hold out the sacred object, an old cross I found tucked away in a drawer. With a steady voice, I recite the incantation, each word filled with determination and power. The room trembles, and Resurrection Mary's form flickers and fades. I continue the ritual, channeling all my strength into banishing her from this world. Finally, with a deafening roar, she disappears into my journal, leaving behind only a faint echo of her presence. I collapse to the floor, exhausted but victorious. Resurrection. Mary is gone, and I am free. As I catch my breath, I realize that this is still the beginning. There are other spirits out there, other hauntings waiting to be vanquished. But for now, I savor the moment of triumph, knowing that I have faced my fears and emerged victorious. But yet again, my journal flips its pages to a new location in sight. I stare at the book and my blood runs cold. Just what in the world is that?